Struggling with weak legs after 60? These senior vitamins can change everything. The right vitamins for seniors could be the missing key to stronger, more stable legs. Don't wait. These 3 vitamins have helped thousands over 60 walk better and live stronger. If your legs feel weaker every year after turning 60, you're not alone. And it's not just aging. Most seniors are missing 3 essential vitamins that fuel leg strength and blood flow. Imagine walking without that heavy, dragging feeling, climbing stairs without stopping to rest. What if the answer is as simple as a daily vitamin? In this video, I'll show you exactly which 3 vitamins can help you build stronger legs and how to start today. If your legs feel weaker after 60, the right vitamins could make all the difference. Most seniors don't realize their daily routine is missing 3 key nutrients for stronger legs. These vitamins for seniors are simple, powerful, and can help you walk steadier starting. And what surprises many people is that these nutrients aren't exotic, expensive, or hard to find. They're often overlooked. Because while exercise is important, the fuel that supports your muscles, nerves, and bones matters just as much. You know, over the years working with people in their 50s, 60s, even into their 80s, I've learned something both simple and profound. The way we move through the world, quite literally, shapes the quality of our life. And yet, many people don't notice the small changes until one day it's unmistakable. Climbing the stairs feels harder. Getting up from a chair takes just a bit more effort. Walking across the parking lot feels less steady. Has that ever happened to you? A woman once told me, "I don't feel old in my heart, but my legs don't always agree." That line stayed with me, because what she said is something I've heard in many different ways, again and again. What most people don't realize is that leg strength, not blood pressure, not cholesterol, not even weight, is one of the strongest predictors of how long and how well we live after 60. That's not just an opinion. It's backed by research from leading doctors and health institutions across the US. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so I need to move more, maybe do some walking or light exercise. And yes, movement is essential. But here's what most folks overlook, especially as they age. Movement alone is not enough. According to several respected physicians in the US, there are specific vitamins, not just general multivitamins, but 3 in particular that directly affect how your legs function, how your nerves send signals, how your joints feel, how quickly your muscles recover. So today, let's look at those 3 vitamins not as magic pills, but as practical tools you can start using right now to keep your legs strong, your steps steady, and your independence intact. Because the truth is, we don't lose our freedom all at once. Sometimes it starts with the legs. 3 essential vitamins to strengthen your legs after age 61. Vitamin B12 protects the nervous system and supports balance. Now, let's talk about something that's quietly overlooked in many aging bodies: the nervous system. Most people associate weakness in the legs with muscle loss, and that's part of it. But there's another layer, one that's even more silent and often more dangerous. It's the loss of nerve function. And that's where vitamin B12 steps into the picture. You see, movement is a conversation between your brain and your body. Your brain sends a signal. Your legs respond. But that signal has to travel down through a network of tiny nerve fibers, each one coated in something called myelin, like insulation around electrical wires. And vitamin B12 is what helps build and maintain that myelin. Without enough B12, those wires begin to fray. Let me ask you this: Have you ever stood up and felt just a second of hesitation in your legs? Like your body needed to double-check that it could support you? Or maybe your feet feel tingly sometimes, like they've fallen asleep even when they haven't. Those little signals, so easy to brush off, could be your nerves struggling to communicate clearly. I remember a gentleman named Charles, 74 years old, retired teacher, full of life. He came to me not because he was in pain, but because he said, "Something feels off." His legs weren't keeping up the way they used to. Not weak, just delayed, like they were a beat behind his brain. Turns out Charles had a significant B12 deficiency, and he had no idea. His diet was fine, but like many older adults, his body wasn't absorbing B12 the way it used to. Within 2 months of sublingual supplementation, his balance improved, his energy returned, and most importantly, he felt like himself again. That's the thing with B12. You can eat well, even take a multivitamin, and still be low, especially after 60. Why? Because your stomach's ability to extract B12 from food declines with age. Acid levels drop. Intrinsic factor, the compound needed to absorb B12, diminishes. Even common medications for heartburn or reflux can interfere with B12 uptake. And here's the real issue. When B12 is too low, your legs can feel weak even when your muscles are still strong. Because it's not a muscle problem, it's a signal problem. Your legs can't respond properly if they're not getting the message. Doctors have also linked B12 deficiency to issues with balance, coordination, and even memory. It's all connected. You can't move confidently if your nerves are misfiring or your brain is unsure where your feet are. So what can you do? Here's what many specialists recommend. If you're over 60, it's wise to have your B12 levels checked, and not just the standard test, but also a marker called MMA, methylmalonic acid, which can catch hidden deficiencies earlier. And when it comes to supplements, sublingual B12, the kind that dissolves under your tongue, is often better absorbed than pills that go through the stomach. Some people may even need injections, depending on how well their body absorbs it. I often describe B12 as the electrician of your body. It keeps the wires clean, fast, and clear, so every message from your brain reaches your legs without delay. And when that line of communication is strong, you don't just move better, you feel safer, more grounded, more stable in your own skin. So let me gently ask again. Have you ever felt your legs hesitate like your body needed a second to remember how to move? Don't ignore that whisper. Sometimes it's not your age speaking. It's your nerves asking for help. And the answer might be something as simple and powerful as restoring your vitamin B12. 2-vitamin K2 regulates calcium, protects bones and joints. There's a quiet problem that often sneaks up on us as we age. It's not loud or dramatic. It doesn't show up overnight. But slowly, day by day, it can rob us of the things we love most: walking freely, bending without pain, climbing stairs without stiffness. That problem is misplaced calcium. You see, most people know calcium is essential for strong bones. That's true. But what fewer people understand, and what doctors in the US have been raising the alarm about, is that calcium needs guidance. Without proper direction, it can settle in the wrong places: your arteries, your joints, even the soft tissues around your knees and hips. And when that happens, stiffness, limited motion, joint pain, sometimes even poor circulation in the legs. This is where vitamin K2 plays a remarkable role. Think of K2 as a kind of traffic officer for calcium. Its job is to tell calcium exactly where to go, and just as importantly, where not to go. With enough K2, Calcium is guided into your bones, where it strengthens them. Without K2, calcium can drift off course and build up in places that make you feel older than you really are. I once met a man in his late 60s who told me, "I stretch every day, I walk, I eat well, but my knees just keep getting stiffer." When we looked deeper, his vitamin K2 intake was almost non-existent. He had no idea. Like many people, he focused on vitamin D and calcium, but never knew how much he needed K2 to complete the puzzle. What's fascinating is that K2 doesn't just protect bones and joints. It also plays a role in keeping your blood vessels flexible. That means better circulation to your legs, better oxygen delivery to your muscles, better endurance for the things you still want to do. And here's something even more powerful. Vitamin K2 works in partnership with vitamin D3. D3 helps you absorb calcium. K2 makes sure it's used properly. It's a 1-2 punch for strong legs and safe aging. Now you might wonder, can I get enough K2 from food? Well, it's tough. The richest source is a fermented food from Japan called natto, which most Americans don't eat. Some cheeses like brie or Gouda have a bit, and pasture-raised eggs can help. But most Western diets are low in this vitamin. That's why many experts now suggest K2 supplementation, especially for adults over 60. If you're considering it, look for the form called MK7. It stays in the body longer and works more effectively. Many professionals suggest a daily dose of 100 to 200 micrograms, taken with a meal that contains some healthy fat, like eggs, nuts, or olive oil, to help your body absorb it. One important note: if you're on blood-thinning medications, always talk with your doctor first before adding K2. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine walking through your garden on a spring morning. Your knees bend easily. Your steps feel steady. Your joints don't ache. It's not a dream. It's what happens when the right nutrients protect your bones, your joints, your circulation, and your freedom. Vitamin K2 may not be flashy, but it's quietly essential, like a guide that keeps everything moving in harmony. And after 60, that harmony matters more than ever. 3. Vitamin D. 3. Connects muscles and nerves. Let's talk now about a vitamin you've probably heard of: vitamin D3. Most people know it helps with bone health. That's true. But what they often don't realize is that vitamin D3 plays a much deeper role in how we move, how we balance, and how we stay strong as we age, especially in our legs. I want you to imagine this. You're walking across your living room. The phone rings. You turn quickly, maybe a little too fast, and suddenly you feel just a bit unsteady. Not a fall, just that tiny moment when your body feels unsure. Have you ever felt that? That moment is not just about muscle. It's about communication between your brain, your nerves, and your muscles. That split-second coordination depends on something called neuromuscular signaling, and vitamin D3 is a key player in that process. Think of your muscles and nerves like an orchestra. The brain is the conductor. Your nerves are the musicians. Your muscles are the instruments. And vitamin D3? It helps everyone stay in rhythm. When you don't have enough D3, those signals get weaker. Reflexes slow. Muscle contractions become less efficient. You may feel shakier when standing up, less sure on uneven ground, and more likely to hesitate just when you need confidence the most. One man I worked with, his name was Ray, told me he started avoiding hiking trails he used to love. Not because he was tired, but because he no longer trusted his balance. When we checked, his vitamin D levels were far below optimal. With the support of his physician, He began supplementing D3 daily. 3 months later, he was back on the trails with a walking stick at first, then without. He said, "I didn't realize how disconnected I had started to feel from my own body. And here's what made the difference. Vitamin D3 didn't just help his bones. It helped his nervous system fire properly. It helped his muscles respond when and how they were supposed to. You see, vitamin D receptors exist directly in your muscle tissue, especially in fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for balance and quick reactions. When D3 binds to those receptors, it improves strength and stability. It also regulates calcium inside your muscle cells, making sure the contraction and relaxation cycle functions smoothly. Not to mention, vitamin D also supports mood and motivation through its influence on serotonin and dopamine. Low D3 can leave you feeling fatigued, foggy, or even slightly down, which only makes movement feel harder. But here's the challenge. As we age, our skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight declines. Even if you spend time outdoors, you might not be making enough. That's why doctors in the US often recommend supplementation, especially after 60. So what's the right approach? Most experts suggest 2,000 to 4,000 IU per day, depending on your blood levels. But don't guess, ask your provider to check your levels. Aim for a serum range of 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter for optimal function. And here's a key tip. Take your vitamin D3 in the morning, with a meal that includes healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or eggs. Fat helps with absorption, and morning dosing aligns better with your body's natural rhythm. Even better, pair D3 with vitamin K2. While D3 helps you absorb calcium, K2 tells that calcium where to go. Together, they help strengthen your bones, protect your arteries, and reduce joint stiffness. I also often recommend adding a little movement after your D3 dose, maybe a short walk or some gentle stretches. This signals your body to use the nutrients where they're needed most. Let me ask you, have you ever wondered why your legs feel tired even on days when you haven't done much? Or why some mornings your balance just feels off? The answer might not be your age. It might be a simple gap in vitamin D3. This vitamin isn't just about sunshine, it's about strength, stability, and the confidence to keep living fully on your feet, on your terms. Because when your muscles and nerves are working in sync, every step becomes steadier, every movement becomes a little more certain, and that certainty, that's freedom. The synergistic support mechanisms of the 3 vitamins. Now, I want to take you just a little deeper into what's really happening inside your body when you give it the right support. Because these 3 vitamins we've been talking about, they don't work in isolation. They work together, like a team. And when they're in place, your body begins to unlock the kind of energy, stability, and freedom you may have thought you lost. Let's start at the cellular level with something called your mitochondria. You can think of mitochondria as tiny power plants inside your muscle cells. They produce ATP, the energy your muscles need to move, balance, and recover. After 60, these little power plants don't run as efficiently. That's why your legs might feel tired more quickly. Why recovery from a walk or light activity takes longer than it used to. Why even simple things start to feel like a chore. But here's the good news. D3, B12, and K2 all support mitochondrial health. They help your cells produce cleaner energy. They reduce the wear and tear inside your muscle fibers. They help you bounce back instead of breaking down. And that's not all. These vitamins also work together to fight something called inflammaging. That's the slow, chronic inflammation that creeps in as we get older. It doesn't show up as fever or swelling. It shows up as soreness, stiffness, heaviness in the legs, the kind of discomfort you can't quite explain, but you feel it every day. Doctors have found vitamin D3 reduces inflammatory signals in the immune system. B12 lowers homocysteine, which can inflame your blood vessels. And K2 helps reduce oxidative stress in joints and muscles. The result? Less silent inflammation, better circulation, easier movement, and most importantly, more life in your legs. So how do you turn all this science into something practical? Let me walk you through a simple daily routine, nothing extreme, just easy steps you can follow every morning. A simple daily routine for adults over 60. In the morning, take your vitamin D3 anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 IU, depending on your doctor's advice. Pair it with vitamin K2, about 100 to 200 micrograms, ideally the MK7 form. These two work best when taken together, especially with a meal that includes some healthy fat like eggs, avocado, or olive oil. That helps your body absorb and use them properly. You might also consider adding a gentle form of magnesium, about 200 to 400 milligrams, such as glycinate or malate. It helps relax your muscles and support calcium flow in your cells. Midday, take your vitamin B12, especially if you've been feeling tired, unsteady, or mentally foggy. The best form for most people over 60 is methylcobalamin, and many experts recommend 500 to 1,000 micrograms daily. Choose the kind that dissolves under your tongue, it skips the stomach, and goes straight into your bloodstream. And throughout the day, don't forget the foundations that make everything else work better. Drink enough water. Your joints, nerves, and muscles all need hydration to function well. Move gently every day. Even a 20-minute walk or some light stretching can wake up your mitochondria and improve circulation. Eat anti-inflammatory foods, salmon, leafy greens, olive oil, berries, and cut back on sugar and processed fats. They only make inflammation worse. So what happens when you commit to this routine not just for a week, but for the long run? You start to feel it in your legs, in your balance, in your stamina. Your recovery improves. Your pain softens. You might even notice yourself standing taller, walking farther, or feeling more steady on your feet than you have in years. That's what happens when your body gets what it needs consistently, gently, and naturally. Not because you're chasing youth, but because you're honoring the strength that's still inside you. And that, to me, is what aging well truly means. So maybe now you're starting to see it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Supporting your legs, your nerves, your joints isn't just a physical thing. It's emotional. It's about feeling safe in your body again, feeling steady, feeling like yourself. You don't need to overhaul your life. Just begin with one step. Maybe tomorrow morning, you add that D3 and K2 to your breakfast. Maybe you start with B12 mid-morning to sharpen your focus. Maybe you go for that 20-minute walk you've been meaning to take. These small choices, done consistently, don't just change how your legs feel. They change how you feel more grounded, more confident, more in control of your future. Because growing older doesn't mean giving up movement or joy. It means learning how to move smarter, with more care and intention. And I truly believe when your legs are strong, your world stays wide open. If this video has helped you pause, reflect, or feel more hopeful about what's possible, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. We're building a space here for people who want to age well, live fully, and stay curious. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one thing you're going to try this week? Let's learn and grow together. Until next time, Stay steady, stay kind to yourself, and keep walking forward.